Every person everywhere longs for meaning and truth. Across cultures and generations we ask, why are we here? What happens after we die? Religions and philosophies offer competing answers. Rituals, prophets, sacred texts, promises of enlightenment. But if there is a God who created all, wouldn't he make the way to know him clear and unique? The search for truth is personal, and the answer, if real, would stand apart from all others. Christianity makes a claim that is unparalleled in history. It asserts God himself entered human history. This is the doctrine of the Incarnation. God the Son took on human flesh. He lived among us as Jesus of Nazareth. He did not merely send a messenger or inspire a distant book. He walked on our soil. He breathed our air. He experienced life as one of us. This concept is utterly unique. No other major world religion claims its ultimate deity became a human being. This wasn't a God in brief disguise like myth. It was the eternal God becoming fully human while remaining fully divine. The purpose was profoundly personal. God came to meet us face to face. The Bible says Jesus was the image of the invisible God. For centuries people sought God through nature, through philosophy, through law, but in Jesus God gave the ultimate direct revelation of his character. People could see his compassion, hear his wisdom, witness his power firsthand. He wasn't a distant, unknowable entity on a mountain or in a temple. He was accessible, he ate with tax collectors, he touched lepers, he spoke with ordinary fishermen. In Jesus, God closed the distance and made himself known intimately. This idea of a personal, relational God contrasts sharply with other systems. Many describe the ultimate as an impersonal force. Others teach a cosmic principle, or a deity so transcendent direct contact is impossible. Founders are typically prophets, sages, or enlightened teachers. They point the way. They are messengers and guides. Jesus made claims that put him in a different category. He claimed to be God. The implications are staggering. If God stepped into our world, it shows unmatched love and commitment. The claims made about Jesus are not based on myth or abstract legend. They are rooted in historical events. Even skeptical and non-Christian historians overwhelmingly agree on several core facts. It is an established fact that a man named Jesus lived in 1st century Palestine. He was a teacher who gathered followers. His ministry caused a stir among Jewish authorities. He was crucified in Jerusalem under Pontius Pilate. These are not just points of faith, they are conclusions supported by multiple independent sources from antiquity. Roman historians like Tacitus, Jewish sources like Josephus. The New Testament documents, particularly the 4 Gospels, serve as our primary biographical sources. Modern scholarship has shown these accounts to be reliable historical documents, written within a few decades by eyewitnesses or those who interviewed eyewitnesses. Luke states he carefully investigated everything from the beginning. This is the language of a historian, not a mythmaker. The central event that anchors Christianity in history is the resurrection. 3 days after his execution and burial, Jesus rose from the dead. The evidence for this event is compelling. We have accounts of numerous eyewitnesses who claim to have seen, touched, and eaten with the risen Jesus. We have the empty tomb, a fact that even contemporary authorities couldn't deny, resorting instead to the explanation that the disciples had stolen the body. Most powerfully, we have the transformed lives of the apostles, men who went from being terrified and hiding to boldly proclaiming the resurrection, willing to suffer brutal persecution and martyrdom for their testimony. People will die for what they believe to be true, but no one willingly dies for what they know is a lie. The apostles' unwavering conviction, even in the face of death, is powerful circumstantial evidence that they genuinely encountered the resurrected Christ. Their transformation makes no sense otherwise. Why would they invent a story that brought them nothing but hardship, torture, and death? The historical data, the early accounts, the empty tomb, the eyewitness testimonies, and the birth of the Christian church all point toward one conclusion. Something extraordinary happened in Jerusalem after Jesus was crucified. The resurrection is not a blind leap of faith, it is a conclusion based on a convergence of historical evidence. The work of Jesus culminates in the most unique and gracious offer ever made to humanity. Every other religion, at its core, is a system of human achievement. They are all based on the principle of do. Do these rituals, follow these rules, meditate this way, perform these good deeds, and you might earn your way to heaven, nirvana, or favor with God. It is a ladder of self-effort where salvation depends on your performance. The problem is that no one can climb that ladder perfectly. The standard is absolute holiness, and our own hearts tell us we fall short. This leaves people in constant uncertainty, never knowing if they have done enough. Christianity completely flips this paradigm on its head. Its central principle is not do, but done. It teaches that salvation is not something we earn through our efforts, but something we receive as a free gift. This gift was purchased by Jesus Christ on the cross. The Bible explains that the penalty for our sin, our moral failures and rebellion against God, is death and eternal separation from Him. Because God is both perfectly just and perfectly loving, He could not simply ignore our sin. Justice required that a penalty be paid, but in His love, He did not demand that we pay it ourselves. Instead, God the Son paid it for us through His sacrificial death. This is the essence of grace. Grace is unmerited, undeserved favor. On the cross, Jesus absorbed the full penalty that we deserved. He took our place. The Apostle Paul summarized it this way: "For God made Christ, who never sinned, to be the offering for our sin, so that we could be made right with God through Christ." No other religious figure has ever claimed to do this. Muhammad did not die for the sins of his followers. Buddha did not offer to take on anyone's karma. They offered teachings and paths to follow. Jesus offered himself as the sacrifice. This act of substitutionary atonement is unique to Christianity. Therefore, the Christian message is one of incredible freedom and assurance. Salvation is not a reward for the righteous but a rescue for the guilty. It is received simply by faith. This is the ultimate expression of God's love. While other gods demand service and sacrifice from their followers, the God of the Bible became a servant and sacrificed himself for his people. This is the logical and relational core of why Christianity stands alone.